Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here and I am so excited and very nervous for today's video. I don't remember the last time I was this invested and this passionate about a project, and that's why I'm so nervous to share it, because I put so much hard work and passion into this project. When I'm reviewing things, swatching things, sharing favorites, those aren't products that I created myself, and what I'm going to share with you today, I feel like these are my babies. So I really hope you enjoy them as much as I do, and if you don't, then they're not real products, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I was inspired to do this video by my friend Elle. She goes by LS or Shadow Smoked. She created this great video called 4 Too Faced Palettes I Wish Existed, where she made mock-ups of the shades that she would put in different Too Faced palettes. I loved that video. As soon as I watched it, I knew I wanted to do my own take on this idea. Anyone who has watched my other videos or follows me on Instagram knows I love Too Faced. Definitely my favorite brand. So taking my own ideas and merging them with my favorite brand is really exciting to me. I had so much fun creating these palettes. I only created 2 palettes, and what I came up with is very different from what Elle came up with. I'm doing my video in a different style than hers. So when you're done watching this, I highly recommend going to check out her video. I'm gonna link her video in the description box. Go check out Elle. I put my own spin on Elle's idea by designing packaging. I also came up with some swatches for my palettes where I took existing products that I have and I mixed them together to give you an idea of what my dream palettes would look like. I've been working on these 2 palettes since Elle's video came out, so it's been a good 6 or 8 weeks that I've been researching, doing different shade combinations, designing the packaging, coming up with the swatches. I'm filming this video now because I really want to put out my palette ideas before the Tutti Frutti palettes are revealed, because I went in a more colorful direction and I have a feeling that the Tutti Frutti palettes are going to be colorful. We've seen the packaging of Tutti Frutti, but I haven't seen any pictures of the insides of the palettes, so let's just get down to business. I'm going to tell you my thought process behind everything that I designed. When it came to choosing the color stories, I really wanted to try to fill the gaps, what's missing from the Too Faced line, but still fits in with the aesthetic of the brand as far as the themes go. Lately, Too Faced has been doing a lot more colorful palettes, the Life's a Festival palette, the Clover palette, so I think that doing something really colorful can fit in with the theme. It's not all just chocolate bars and sweet peach now. I also wanted to stick within the edible theme. Too Faced loves their snack themed palettes, and I love those palettes, so I really wanted to do something in that vein, and I do imagine that these palettes I created would be scented. We'll get more into that once you see the themes. I designed my dream palettes to be the same size, shape, layout as these Peaches and Cream collection palettes. I love these palettes. I think they're just the right size. They look beautiful. They feel expensive. They have great mirrors inside. I love this ombre look. I definitely stuck with that. And I think that these are very fairly valued at $45 US a piece. So I would imagine that the palettes I created would be the same. The first palette that I started working on, I named Piece of Cake. You know we love a sweet, delicious Too Faced palette. I definitely imagine this palette having their classic chocolate or maybe even like a cake batter type of scent. This is the front of my palette, or the cover for the Piece of Cake palette, and this is the inside of the palette, what the shades would look like. Believe it or not, the inspiration for this palette came from the white chocolate bar that was a holiday release, the full-size white chocolate bar, not the white chocolate chip. So 3 of the shades that you see in here are from the white chocolate bar palette. These are 3 shades that I really liked, and I just felt like they could fit in with something a little bit richer, more saturated, more jewel toned. One of my main complaints about both the white chocolate bar palette and the white peach palette is that the shades were just too light, too pastel, and they really weren't gonna work on anybody with a medium or deep skin tone. So So when I was designing this piece of cake palette, I was really thinking about what kind of shades and finishes are gonna work together cohesively and are gonna look great on a wide variety of skin tones. What's exciting, something that we haven't really seen from Too Faced, but definitely fits in their brand. And I think that this is it. I'm gonna show you the swatches that I created. I used products that I have in my collection. Aside from the shades that are taken from the actual white chocolate bar, all of these other shades are created by mixing other products. I'm not gonna tell you what everything is, mainly because I spent so much time mixing. Some of these are made up of 4 or 5 different shades mixed together. This is just to give you an idea, something tangible of what this palette would look like in life. So let's go through the shades from my fictional palette now. The shades from the top row of both of the palettes that I created are gonna be 4 neutrals with brighter, more colorful shades on the second and third rows. I love it when colorful palettes have a few neutrals to really help ground the looks. You can get everything you need out of a palette that has colorful and neutral shades. So the top row, these neutral shades in my piece of cake palette, are very cool toned. Like I said, I was very invested in this. I named all my shades and everything, so I'll let you know which ones are the real shades from the white chocolate bar, but I'm gonna talk about these as if they're real eyeshadows, and they are not. I made them up, so just live in my fantasy land with me, okay? The top row has Frosted, which is a bright white shimmer with a multi-pearl glitter. Next is Guilt Free. This is a shade from the white chocolate bar palette, and this is a really cool toned pale gray. Next is Sugared Raisin. This is another one from the white chocolate bar, and this is a shimmery lavender meets gray type of color. Lastly, we have Chocolate Frosting, which is a deep neutral to cool toned matte brown. On the second row, we're looking at some pink and red shades. First is Cotton Candy, which is a satin shade, and it is a medium cool toned pink. Then Birthday Girl, this is a matte hot magenta. Next is Birthday Girl's shimmery sister. I named this one Jubilee, and this is a shimmering hot magenta. And then lastly on the second row is Red Velvet, which is a matte dark red. The very last row, we're getting some purples and blues. Lavender Cake, this is a matte lavender, and this is a shade from the white chocolate bar. Then Funfetti, which I imagine to be a shifting purple duochrome. Blueberry Cheesecake, which is a blue shimmer shade with glitter. And lastly, Royal Icing, which is a matte navy blue. You may be wondering, Amanda, you said that you wanted these palettes to work for medium and deep skin tones, so why did you add Guilt Free and Lavender Cake into this palette? Aren't those shades really pale and pastel and risk looking ashy on deeper skin tones? That's true. On their own, they would, but that's why we have a distribution here of medium and deeper tones to help balance out those really pale light shades. That's really what White Chocolate Bar and White Peach palettes were missing. They just had a very heavy selection of those light, paler pastel shades and not a lot of medium or deep shades to balance them out. So if you have a medium or deep skin tone and you want to use a shade like Guilt Free, which is that pale gray, you can add in one of these deeper mattes, mix it in with that pale gray so you can add some depth, you can add some more contrast for a deeper skin tone. In that way, I really hoped that this sort of color selection would work for everyone. I'm gonna show you all of the pieces of the puzzle put together here for the piece of cake palette, all the packaging and swatches side by side so you can really see the full vision here. Just imagine that cake batter scent. I think it would be really fun and inspiring to see Too Faced come out with something like this, which is a colorful palette, but it's not just rainbow, it's a little bit more focused as far as color scheme goes. It's leaning more towards those cool tones, which I do think tends to be missing in everybody's line, not just Too Faced. We've been overwhelmed with warm, so I think a colorful, cool toned palette could do really well, and I think a lot of people would find that refreshing. Okay, let's talk about the second palette I designed. Here is the outer packaging. I named this one With a Twist. Sticking with that edible food theme, I imagine that this palette would have a citrus scent, of course. Hopefully it wouldn't smell too much like cleaning products. Like a sweet citrus, a yummy citrus scent like the peach palettes, but orange or lime or something instead of peach. Can you smell the vision with me? And here's the inside. This is what I would imagine the With a Twist palette would look like. Again, I'm sticking with that neutral top row and then colorful on the second and third rows. I did go more warm with this one. I just think warm tones fit this theme a little bit better, and I like the idea of the balance between the cooler Piece of Cake palette and the warmer With a Twist. Something for everyone. I'm all about that. These are all shades that I made up. I made up the names for these. None of these are pulled from existing Too Faced palettes. But I am going to continue to talk about it as if it's a real palette, because in my brain, it's very real. I've been working on this for so long that it's almost like it exists. Let's go through these shades, and again, I'm going to show you my made up swatches with the made up shade names. On the top row, I have Toes in the Sand, which would be a satin tan shade. Suntan, which is a warm, matte, medium brown. Tangelo, which is a very shimmery, light orange. And Coconutty, which is a satiny, dark brown. On the second row, we're seeing a bunch of yellowy goodness. The first shade I called Lemon Meringue. This is a matte pale yellow. There is a shade in the Just Peachy Mattes called Peach Meringue, so that's kind of where I got this name from, but this is a different shade that I mixed. Lemon Lime, which is a yellow to green duochrome. Go Bananas, a super shimmery, super bright yellow. To go with Go Bananas, we have Pina Colada, which is a matte, bright yellow. Very hard to find shades to make what I wanted. Couldn't quite get the swatch to match my vision, but I think you can get the idea here. On the bottom row, some more greens. First is Parakeet, which would be a very bright green shimmer. Key Lime, which I imagine to be a matte sort of primary green. I know that green is not actually a primary color, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like a kid's Lego, very primary green. Can't think of a better way to describe it. Then the shade Bergamot, which is slightly deeper, more medium green in a satin finish. And lastly, the shade Sangria, which would be a matte in a wine, deep wine purple. I tried this palette out with so many different shades in that very last spot where the shade Sangria is. When I first put the purple in there, I thought maybe this is too random to have a purple in here. But when I look at these shades, particularly in the swatches, I think this matte deep purple really rounds out the palette. It really balances. It would look beautiful with all of these greens. It would even look great with the more neutral shades on the top row. So if you look at this and you think the purple looks random, just bear with me. This was a very deliberate choice. I think this is the best choice for this palette. And here I'm going to show you the entire With a Twist palette vision all together. I think this color scheme would work for a lot of people, a lot of skin tones. It's exciting, but it's still approachable. It has a great balance. This is the kind of palette that's going to bring people who are neutral people like myself and help them get comfortable with using color. So those are my dream palettes I would create if I worked at Too Faced. I had so much fun creating these palettes. I genuinely put hours of research and swatching and looking at old Too Faced palettes, looking at tons and tons of palettes just to see what's out there, what the trends are, what kind of shades work for a lot of different people. I really focused on getting a great balance, things that I think would work for a lot of people but would still be exciting and add something new to the brand but still fit in with the brand's image. I really wanted a balance of light, medium, and deep shades, as well as matte, satin, and shimmer finishes, so that hopefully my vision for these palettes would be really well-rounded. I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed creating it. I loved this. I would love to do more videos like this. So if you're interested, please leave a comment and let me know. Let me know what brands you want to see me do next, or what other products you want to see me create my dream, my vision of. Would you be interested in these palettes? If they were real, which one would be on your wish list? Do you have a dream product that you would love to create? Let's have a discussion about it in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Bland, bland. If you know anybody who works for Too Faced and wants to give me a design job, I missed my calling and I'm ready now. I'm ready to answer the call. Hi. This shit is that the shades are just wouldn't it be great if Too Faced called me and they were like, these palettes are genius. We must have your brain. Not like that. Not just my brain. We must have you, creative genius. Jared, hit me up. I won't hold my breath, don't worry. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my voice. I'm so nervous. My voice is like shaking. My body is shaking. I bet I was doing wild hand gestures the whole time. I needed to take a deep breath. I've only had like 4 cups of coffee, so I can't be over caffeinated. I'm gonna go get a Coke Zero. Bye-bye.